rumors are flying that Mike Babcock is set to return behind the bench of an NHL team, potentially becoming the next bench boss of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I gotta say, I think that's a huge mistake for Columbus. First of all, Babcock has not been a coach in the NHL since 2019, when he was the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs and was fired just 23 games into that season. Since then, he's been head coach at the University of Saskatchewan, and apart from a few rumors that he might be returning to the NHL, really hasn't been at the top of anybody's coaching lists that seem to always pop up when the hiring cycle begins each offseason. And the fact that he's basically been invisible from the NHL for the last 4 seasons is a little bit concerning, because while it can be good for a young guy to take some time away from the show after their first or second NHL coaching job and take some time to reevaluate what's gone wrong in their previous stints, Babcock was a coach in the NHL for almost 2 decades. It's unlikely that this time away was used for some great reinvention and rejuvenation. Instead, it's likely a reflection on the fact that most of the NHL has come to understand that Mike Babcock, while an incredibly talented coach, has a bit of a personality issue. There are countless videos on YouTube going over Mike Babcock's terrible treatment of players from Mike Commodore, to Mitch Marner, to Mike Modano, and of course Johan Franzen, and it's not hard to imagine that these rumors have been a big reason why he hasn't been a serious coaching candidate for any team in the last 4 years. But now he seems to be returning, and he's returning to what is a pretty volatile situation in Columbus. The Jackets have not only been a pretty bad team for a while, but they're also a very young team. They only have 2 players on their roster currently who are age 30 or older. And although Babcock's dickishness doesn't seem to be limited to just younger players, again, he was pulling these power plays on guys like Modano and Spezza, I worry that without that veteran presence on the Jackets, Babcock's just going to feel a little more emboldened to run things his way, which can lead to a toxic environment. And remember, this is the guy who had Mitch Marner rank his teammates in terms of effort as a rookie in Toronto. And that team had some veterans on it, guys like Nazem Kadri, James Van Riemsdyk, and Tyler Bozak. Look, tactically, I get this move. Babcock is an incredibly accomplished head coach. He only missed the playoffs twice in his entire coaching career, and 3 if you're counting the half season in Toronto before he was fired. But for a team like Columbus, which is sort of looking for its own identity, has a lot of good young pieces, and has a high draft pick that can really look to reforge its identity in the next few years, I just don't think hiring a guy like Mike Babcock with all of his troubled history is going to pay off.